Up next, I still can't believe this would happen. It's Rick talking about who was really in charge at TNA when Rick was there. I can't believe it. He's talking to Vince Russo. Wow.
But I think and Conrad and I talk about it, I think Seth Rollins has got it down pretty good, and he's getting more confidence. And where he's definitely 10 times the interviewer he was 6 months ago. And there's other guys that can talk and care, but it's the thing that I see is that I wouldn't change a bit of it for me. But it's that old saying, you got about 4 minutes to walk out that door and show Vince McMahon there's something different about you than anybody else. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. No,
I had robes, clothes. I had a lot of enhancements. I didn't say it worked out for me financially so well, but it wasn't like I didn't come prepared.
But Rick, let me ask you this. Here's something very important because you basically said it, and it's kind of like I figured it. Okay, like I get the feeling too, like. There are people working on eggshells, and the way the wrestling business is, Rick, let's face it, there isn't a WCW. Where are these guys going to go if, God forbid, they get heat with the office? So I understand all that. But, Rick, I have to ask you a question, like, even in your case, especially starting out, before you were Ric Flair, weren't there times, though, Rick, in your career especially early on, where like you kind of had to go out there and take chances in order to become Ric Flair, in order to stand out from the crowd?
It's funny. I tell this to everybody. It was just I came from Minneapolis, where I started with Dusty, and I started with Murdoch and Rhodes and Bockwinkel and Stevens and. Jesus, Larry Henning, Harley Race. The list was endless of guys there when I started. And then after a year, I went to Carolina, where George Scott was with Wahoo, and I was surrounded with so much talent that, and the guys liked me, because when young guys started the business, when I started, a lot of the older guys didn't like the young guys. But I wanted to be a heel, so that already took the pressure off the older baby faces. Unlike a guy like Steamboat, man, the baby faces like Wahoo and Paul Jones and those guys, they hated Steamboat. I had to fight for everything in the world to get him a break. Mm-hmm. Nobody wanted to see a handsome young kid come along,
right?
Especially if you're a baby face with some mileage on you. But for me, I was a heel. I was just cannon fodder, man. So they loved me. I could talk, say what I wanted to say. They bounced around, beat me every night. Hell, one night I was in Charleston wrestling Wahoo, and George Scott happened to be at the show. Wahoo beat me in the middle of the ring. The people were going crazy. He came back down and beat me again. And the crowd was, I was so naive, the crowd was going crazy again. He came back down and beat me 3 times. I walked back, and George Scott pulled me aside and said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I don't know. I thought that was good." He said, "You already beat you once." I didn't know any better. beat me 30 times. What the hell?
Hey, Rick, let me ask you a question as it pertains to the business today, because I'm real interested in this. Say Ric Flair was just breaking into the business today, and say Ric Flair was breaking into the same WWE today, that we're seeing today, where, again, guys are in tough positions because there's really no place else to go. So, they kind of follow instructions to the T, just to make sure they have job security, they have feelings. I understand all that. But, Rick, if you were placed in that situation today, and you're just breaking into the business, but the Nature Boy is inside of you. You know he's there, and you know he exists, but yet they keep giving you, scripted promos, say this, say that.
If I broke into
Rick,
business now, I'd be fired within 30 minutes.
Well,
Social media
I was just going to say now,
be alive without walking in the door of the building.
Say that again, Rick. I missed it.
From conduct the night before, as you know.
Yeah. But
I enjoyed working. What's that?
Well, Rick, my question is, would you take that gamble in order to be noticed?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Most definitely. But and I think the character would have been everything would have worked, but I would have had to really kind of like that movie Wolf, chain myself to the radiator in the room at night.
Right.
Part of what made life fun for me is I wrestled hard, I worked out hard, but I did some damage to myself and other people between 11 and 4 a.m.
So, hey, let's switch gears and talk a little WCW.
So I have to comment up by saying that since Conrad hangs around me now, he tells me that his liver light's on once in a while. So
my check liver light. I woke up at SummerSlam, and my check liver light was on. So, hey, Vince, let's talk a little bit about WCW. I know we kind of...
And Vince, just as an FYI, how in the hell have you been in this business so long? You don't do drugs, you don't drink. How do you do it?
Oh, man, I just used to, Rick, literally, this is an absolute shoot, Rick. The show would be over. I'd walk in the hotel. I would look to my left and see what was going on in the bar, and I would know in my mind nothing good is going to come out of that, and I literally would go right to my room and lock myself in.
I learned that. What was wrong? Why was I so thick-headed?
Yeah. Yeah, Rick, if you were on the outside looking in and you saw what was happening, you would know nothing good is going to come out of that.
Well, I know what's happening because it was probably me.